Solarpunk is a new cozy survival game with floating islands to explore, a really cool airship, base building and homesteading alone or in multiplayer co-op, and harnessing wind, sun, and water to power cool gadgets around your base. It's one of the most anticipated chill survival games for 2025, and the demo is finally here. Well, almost. I got to play it early because I was an alpha backer on Kickstarter, but everyone can play the Solarpunk demo during Steam Next Fest from February 24th through March 3rd. This is a pre-alpha demo, so the content is rather limited, but I spent 8 hours completely absorbed in the game and will share 10 things you need to know about Solarpunk from the demo and content that the developers have shared. And welcome to Solarpunk. Here is the base that I have spent 8 hours working on, and the time just flew by. I had so much fun, and there's so much to tell you about the game. Starting off with number 1, survival. Even though it's cozy survival, there are still survival elements. Take a look on the bottom left of the screen. You can see I have a health meter, a hunger meter, and a thirst meter. In addition to that, there is stamina. If we try and run here, we can run as much as we want until we get hungry, which is nice. You don't really have to worry about stamina until you're hungry. And you can sleep as well if you want to advance the day. But let's talk about death. This happened a lot to me while I was building, and I kept trying to step back a little bit farther to see what I was building, and then before I knew it, I fell. And I came back. I have all of my inventory. That's great. But take a look on the bottom left. I am very hungry. It's affected my thirst and drastically affected my health. Now, watch what happens when I try to sprint when I'm this hungry. Too hungry to sprint. Nope, I'm walking like an elephant. Super slow. What we can do is take these raspberries, and they are going to replenish our hunger, our thirst, and it's slowly going to replenish our health. And then once my hunger is completely satiated, I'm completely full, my health will slowly start to climb. So it's really easy to mitigate the survival elements, even though it is survival. I kind of wish it was a little bit more difficult. If you go into the settings, I would hope to see some sort of a difficulty meter, some settings for the survival. Currently, there are none, but hopefully there will be some added later, because I know there are a lot of people who like to play it very nice and chill and relaxing, and then as the game progresses, I get a little bored, so I want an extra challenge. I would love for there to be some harsher survival, which I'll talk about again later, but it's really easy if you want to eat. Just eat the berries. That's something they suggest you plant early on. Now, you won't have the sprinkler early on. You'll need to use your watering can. And you can get water from these little rainwater collectors. I will drink some right now. Take a look on the bottom left. That just refills my thirst. Easy peasy. Now, the only other thing I found that you can eat right now is if I harvest this wheat, and then we're going to replant it here. So there we go. So I have all this wheat. I got a bunch of it. I can take it over to my workbench here, and we can turn it into dough. So let's go ahead and craft that. So we turn some of the wheat into a dough, and then we're going to go over to our little oven, our furnace, and we're going to take this dough, put it in here, and I have a fuel. There's several different things you can use as fuel. This is some cotton because I have an abundance of cotton. And we are going to turn this dough into delicious French bread. And there's our bread. So we're going to take it, and the nice thing is you can just click shift and click to put things into the furnace. I just put some clay in there. We're going to turn it into bricks. But now, when I'm hungry next time, I can just eat this bread. I'm not going to eat it right now because I don't want to waste it. So that is your survival. There's nothing that's going to attack you, even though there is one other animal on this island. I'll show you a little bit later. And then the other aspect of the survival is you're going to need your tools, right? You don't have weapons, but you have tools, and those you can make within your pockets. So in the beginning, you're going to need to make your pickaxe, your axe, your hoe, and your build hammer. And all you do to make these, look down here, sticks and stones. And you'll find those just kind of chilling on the ground here. There's a stick, and these are the stones that you'll find. Not those, can't pick those up. There's your stone, there's your stick. And they do respawn, so that is really nifty. Number 2 is the building. Take a look. Once we get our build hammer out here, I'm going to right click and open up our build menu. You will be limited in what you can build during the demo. If I go to the left, this is going to be the glass, and it says that's available in the full game. I would love to make a greenhouse, but I'm going to have to wait on that. And then you go all the way to the right, and this is going to be your brick. I love that terracotta roofing, but we have to wait for the full game for that. Right now, what you have to work with is wood. And we have your walls. There's a pretty good selection here. There's doors, there's some windows with glass, and if you want these glass items, you're going to have to not only have wood, but you can see in the middle there it says glass. And how you get glass is through crafting sand in the furnace, and that will turn it into glass. And then you have 2 different kinds of stairs, and then there's the foundation. You don't have to have the foundation, but it makes it so much easier. Watch this. We're going to, let's just work with the fence here. So if I want to put a fence around the garden like I did, it's not going to snap into place because there's no foundation. I can still put it there, but it's going to be a little bit harder to get lined up because it's not on the foundation. Now, if I just put it on the foundation, look at how that just pops right in there. You can rotate it. So that's going to be really easy. And then if I want to demolish it, I just swap to a different tool, and then we're just going to hold down right click. So that's the building in a nutshell. There's lots of different pieces to choose from. My 2 complaints are, number 1, if you look at the roofing, there's only one size for each roof. So that made it a bit difficult. My brain had a hard time wrapping around that there's only one size. So it took me quite a while to play around and get this made. And then I have a little shed over here. Tried a different building materials out in that. And then the other main issue with the building is when I get these materials out, okay, I'm trying to build. So let's just, we'll just put some foundations here. So I'm trying to build, put some walls up, and I'm out of wood. But my problem was I had a hard time seeing it, right? Especially when I'm trying to put the roof on. I was building scaffoldings and trying to see where to attach the roof, what kind of parts to use. And I kept backing up, and I fell off of here. This is probably a me problem. I fell off of here, I don't even want to tell you, at least 5 times. And it's not a deal breaker, but I would just love, like in the game Aloft and many other games, have a 3rd-person option. Just to be able to back up a bit, or maybe a field of view slider, something to get me back a little bit so I can better see what I want to build here. The first person, it's nice and immersive, right? But it's hard to see. But other than that, it's really fun. A couple other things about building: you will need a ton of wood, and all you have to do is come up to a tree, smack the crap out of it, and after about 5 hits, it will fall over, and it takes a little while. It's not going to hurt you. I got my wood. You know, this game is all about being one with nature, right? So you want to replenish everything that you take. You want to leave it better than how you got there. Something like that. Some kumbaya stuff. This sounds really good. Let me go ahead and harvest my honey here. And the other thing I wanted to show you is you will need to use building to get to different places on the island. For example, all the way up this cliff, this was really tough. I mean, I could still jump this. You can jump. But this here, I needed to build something to get up here. So now I've got the nice little stairway, and there will be other places, like there's another one up there. You will need to use the building to access different places, and that's cool. And speaking of building, this is another thing I built for something. You know what? I'm going to save this for a little bit later. I got a surprise for you. Number 3 is exploring. Currently in the demo, you can only explore your home island, where you spawn in. But if you look out yonder, it looks like you're in the game Aloft, right? I'm going to be comparing Solarpunk to Aloft a lot because I see a lot of similarities between the 2 games. Look at all those islands. You just want to fly out there. I just want to jump off here and spread my glider wings and fly, but it doesn't work like that in this game. In Solarpunk, you have a really cool airship. Let's get a quick drink. Oops, that was the wrong button. Currently can't rebind the keys. That's another problem. I play on ESDF normally, and so I'm trying to use WASD, and my fingers just aren't remembering it. But this is the airship. It is so cool, and you will have to find some repair parts to build this. I'm not going to show you where they are because I want you to be surprised. You need to find some of this out on your own. But you get this little dock that you build, and I added on to it a little bit. It's a work in progress. I added a cute little plant here. It's lovely. It's very cozy, very aesthetic. But look watch, the doors will go down. That's so cool. So you have this airship that you're going to be flying to explore the islands. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hop in here. We're going to take control. There we go. And you have a dashboard, and it tells you, is your battery charged? It tells you the winds, because you don't want to be flying this when it's really windy. If it's dark out, your batteries won't recharge because it's solar powered. And then I figured out if you press the L, you turn on the lights. Do you see that? Even shows it on the dash. You can turn your lights on. I would imagine that wears the battery down. And we are going to go off. Let's go exploring. There is one place you can fly to during the demo here. I'm just using my mouse. I can pull my mouse back to go up. Push my mouse forward to go down. And then there's left and right. This would be so fun with a controller, but right now it's just mouse and keyboard. And just bear with me because I'm terrible at driving things with mouse and keyboard. Just ask my friends when I'm trying to drive vehicles in Fortnite on keyboard and mouse. It's not a pretty sight. But up there is, I believe that's the merchant platform. And I believe we can dock right up front here in that little blue area. I'm a super chicken. We're just going to take it nice and slow. See if we do this right. E-dock airship. It wasn't pretty, but we got the job done. And here we are at the merchant platform. This part just gets me excited for the rest of the game. I will show you more about it later. Number 4, let's talk about the energy systems. While you are exploring through the demo, you will come across a little package of goodies. You get these 2 solar panels here, the wind turbine. You get this little panel that tells you how much energy you are producing on the left and consuming on the right. And obviously, when it gets dark, you're not going to be able to produce as much. And if you have too many consumers and not enough producers, it won't power anything. So at night, this shuts off. This is our sprinkler, which you also get. And then you get these little cable connectors here. So we could take it. I think I might have to demolish it. There we go. So how you were going to power this is I take the cable connector and it's going to connect to the wind turbine, or I could have connected it just to the solar panels, but I have them all connected because in addition to this sprinkler, which is a godsend because it takes forever to water these with the watering can, but we also are powering, if you follow these cable connectors, we're powering this drill down here. And it is going to mine you stone, sand, iron ore, a whole lot of iron ore, and then you can just collect it. And then it's going to fill your storage up with all this iron ore, which you can turn into these iron bars in the furnace. The sand turns into this glass, and you're going to use stones in making all your tools. And I'm sure there's going to be other things, like the different building components that we don't have access to yet. And there's even more tech at the merchant. This is what I wanted to show you before, but I didn't want to spoil it till we got to that section. Going over here to this little machine, you have tons of cool gadgets to unlock. Like a forester bot that will harvest and produce wood for you, a battery to store your excess electricity, the automated magnet fisher. I've seen this in the developers' videos. It just floats in your little ponds. It looks so adorable. I can't wait to get this, but it's all locked in the demo, unfortunately. The sprinkler we have the weather station to forecast the weather. The lighting pack, which I'm really excited for because it gets so dark at night and the candles you make go out very quickly, and then you just have to replenish them with more beeswax. There's the windmill, which we already have, and then the sky turbine that is going to produce a lot of energy. That looks really cool. And then even more exciting is that you see another tier here, and it makes you wonder how many more tiers are there going to be. It's really exciting, but you have to research before you can unlock that, and none of it's available in the demo. And then some other cool stuff we have. Again, locked in the demo. But take a look at some of these pictures in here. I know there's a way to upgrade our airship. Not in the demo, but in the full game. So here's my thinking, and I don't know this. I'm just completely guessing that this is going to be some sort of an upgrade vending machine. Upgrades for the airship, upgrades for, looks like your workbench, animal upgrades, and then some sort of a robot upgrade. I think that might be the farming bot. Maybe this is where you buy the farming bot. I don't know, but it's exciting. So more cool tech, and this makes you wonder. Look at that. Something happened to this. It seems to have an issue with electricity. It's not getting power. And then what is this thing? Peek in the window here. It's some sort of I don't think it's a nursery, but it sure looks like they might be doing some sort of plant experimentation. I'm looking at that sign above the door. That is the steering wheel for the airship. And this whole thing is floating, so maybe there's a way to drive it around. Do you think we can go in here later? I bet we can. I'm just trying to get all the little hints we can. And then look in the window. How cool is this stuff? It's like a mad scientist lab, even though it's just with plants. And what is that there? It sort of looks like it might have water in it. I don't know, but it's shorting out. Is that something we're going to be able to make? It's clearly broken. Look at that. Severed right there. What is that? If you can't tell, I'm a bit hyped up for this. Let's get going. Goodbye, merchant platform up here. Also, you can look around if you hold down the right mouse button. Even when you're flying, which I am not good at multitasking, but if you're really good at multitasking, you can fly this baby and look around at the same time. Like, ooh, where am I going to crash into? Look, no hands. I wouldn't recommend that. In fact, I'm getting lost right now. I think we go back down here. Let's fly back home. Number 6, let's talk about farming and animals. In the beginning of the game, you are going to want to make a hoe, till the ground, and then plant your seeds. And what you're going to use for the seeds are, you'll find berry bushes, you'll find wheat growing around here, and it's not growing wild anymore because I've picked it, but you'll find berries growing around. You can pick the berries, and then it will give you the seeds for the berries. And then you're going to take your watering can, which you're going to have to craft, but I happen to have somewhere, there we go, I have a couple extra watering cans. And if you don't have a well, which I can use this, send that down and it'll bring up water. If you don't have a well to refill your watering can, which I can do right here, you're going to have to go down to your little pond. And you will be doing that a lot and you'll get so tired of it. So as soon as you can craft the well, do that. As soon as you can craft your sprinkler, do that. But this is how you water it. It took a lot of water. It took me multiple watering cans just to hydrate my garden. But that is how you're going to farm, and definitely grow the berries right off the bat because you will need them. In fact, I need to eat a little bit right now. As for the animals, they are coming. I've seen evidence in the developers' videos, but currently, at least on my island, I've only been able to find one animal. I'm going to show you her right now. Her name is Henrietta. I know, real original. But that's my little chicken. So far, I don't know what to do with her. In the developer videos, I have seen little chicken coops that we can build. We don't have those yet. So I improvised and I built her a coop, complete with, she has her little perch. She can roost right there, but she doesn't use it. She sleeps in the grass. Even during the rain, she hunkers down in the grass. She doesn't use it. She's very ungrateful, but look at this. It's cute. Those are supposed to be nesting boxes. They're actually storage crates. I made her this cute little area, and I have found out what she likes to eat. Accidentally, I figured out that the Q key throws stuff. Watch. She'll come eat this. We'll use it to kind of kite her back here. See if it works. And I thought maybe if I feed her enough, she'll give me an egg. But I just don't think that's in the demo. He's gonna eat it up. I can't interact with her. I really want to pet her. I want to hug her. I want to get some delicious eggs. But for right now, you just have a chicken to play with. And if you can figure out what else to do with this girl, please let me know in the comments. Yeah, look. See? She's sleeping right there in the grass when she has a perfectly lovely roost. Chickens love to roost up high. I have chickens. We have lots of chickens at our house. And yeah, they would not be doing that. But it's cool that we have them in the game. We know they're coming. It's exciting. I'm going to harvest the beeswax. We do have bees. Bees, you can interact with these. You get the beeswax, you can turn them into candles, which I just made here, and you can turn the candle on and off. Currently, that's the only light we have other than through the furnace. And these beeswax candles burn very quickly, and once they get empty, you have to refill them with beeswax, which is really cool. It's pretty authentic, right? Now, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go back to bed over there, and then we will talk about number 7. That was a nice restful sleep. And on to number 7, which is going to be crafting. 3 things I want to tell you about crafting. We'll take some damage. Actually, didn't hurt too badly. You can craft, obviously, from the workbench, which I showed you before. This is going to show you we have tools, your utility items, and again, this is just what you have access to during the demo. This is how I made my dock for my airship. We have our research table, which is how you unlock new items to craft. These are your resources: cloth, dough, and sticks. I used the cloth, I believe, to craft the bed. Yeah, you needed cloth for the bed. And, oh, that's right, you can craft seeds. Aha, I forgot about that. So you can take your raspberries, your wheat, your cotton into here and craft your seeds. And then we have corn seeds. I have not found corn anywhere yet. I don't know, maybe it's not in the demo, but we have corn coming and probably a lot more. And currently animals, we just had the beehive. Furniture, again, I know we have a lot more coming for this. They did really, really well on making the plants look delicious, but you need a lot of brick for them, and like I said, clay is hard to come by. You can make tables, different tables. We have a little table. This one I use on the decks. It's nice and tiny. It's like a little bistro table. Then you have dinner tables, all sorts of goods here, and then our chairs. And then this is just all the recipes that we have. So you can craft things there, and this is your research table, which is how you unlock things. And I have unlocked everything that you can during the demo. These are unresearched, but they are currently locked in the demo. We have more plants, a lot more plants. This is exciting. Magnetic fishing rod, so there will be fishing. Animal basics. This is what I need for my chicken. There's the chicken coop. Looks like we have a trough. They're going to sleep and take shelter and be able to eat. Couches and carpets, shelving. I mean, if you're like me and you like to nest in games like this, which I love to do, you like to make it look cute and cozy, this is where it's at. This is the sauce right here. And then there are other tiers that we just haven't been able to get to because of the demo here. And these are everything that I've researched: the rain collector, the well, the chests, beehive, furnace, dock, and so on. And then, just like I showed you before, within your pockets, you can craft these 7 things. And then everything else you need to go to the workbench for currently. And we're going to grab this. There we go. Now, the one thing I wish the game had is going to be crafting from storage. I'm a hoarder. I think a lot of us in these games are hoarders, right? We want to save everything, and we want to be able to come over here to our workbench and craft something and have it pull from the storage. Well, it doesn't work like that because I have tons of cotton in my storage over there and it won't let me craft it. I even tried putting my storage right here by the workbench because I've seen in some games like Mirthwood, they will craft from your storage if the storage is in proximity to the workbench, but I could not get that to work either. So I'm hoping they add that. That is a huge frustration, and I think that would make a lot of our lives easier. Good quality of life thing for them to add. But here's our survival guide, which is really cool. if you want to know how to do anything. Cute little book here. Let's talk about the weather. That's number 8. We have rainstorms through thunder and lightning, full-on thunderstorms. And right now, it doesn't do any damage to the player. And really, it only helps you because if you don't have a sprinkler, but it rains, it will not only water all your crops, which is a huge time saver, but it will also refill these rainwater collectors, which I need some water right now. And thankfully, I have 3, so we're just going to take some water. And another thing the weather is going to affect is obviously your solar panels. So if it's cloudy, if it's dark, if it's raining, those are not going to be on. I believe that should still be on as long as we have wind, but that's not going to be enough to power everything because you can see how much the windmill is generating 160. It would be enough to power the sprinkler, but not the sprinkler and the drill combined, which takes 225. So it's like a little mathematical equation. You thought you get away from math class by gaming? No, no, no. No, you don't. And then something else that affects weather, and you saw we are getting, is a little forecast station, which I imagine you can put right here by your dock, as the weather does affect the charging ability of your ship. Whether it's charging or not, it looks like it is right now. And also, you're not going to want to be flying if it's quite gusty. It's going to make this even harder to control than it already is. And here's one of the thunderstorms I was telling you about. Let's just watch it and listen. Now, interesting, my wind turbine, of course, is still turning, but it looks like we still have enough because of the windmill. We still have enough to run everything. Interesting. And I almost forgot, one thing that is actually pretty cool is that thunderstorms will hurt your crops. You might be thinking that's not cool, but I think it just gives you one more realistic element of survival, and it gives you something else to do, but it will ruin your crops. But watch how it gives me a seed back. So it doesn't deny you of the seeds, you just lose the progress on the plant. And I like that. I wish they would add more realistic survival elements, or at least let us choose if we want to make it more severe, because I like it. Bring it on. Number 9 are the aesthetics. The color palette in Solarpunk, I've always thought was just so soothing. It's kind of earthy tones. You have your orange yellows, the golds, the browns, the green, blue, white. Those are the predominant colors, but they're very muted, right? They're not overly saturated. And even the graphic style, it's kind of soft, right? It doesn't have a lot of sharpness to it. It's almost a bit blurry. And it just lends itself to a very cozy feel, I think. Even the designs, the lines on your building components here, it just has a very earthy vibe to it. Beeswax candles, you know? Are you picking up the vibes? I am, and I love it. I'm eating it up. You have flowers and grass just dancing in the wind, the ambient sound effects, the wind, the birds. I love it. Now, there isn't much music. I've only found music in the menu so far, but I would imagine that once the game releases, we're going to have some more music to it. That would be nice. And there's also the sun rising and setting. Can't really see. Oh, there it is. There you go. And it just has a nice, soft, diffused look to it. So the overall aesthetics of Solarpunk, I think, are really delightful, very inviting, very cozy, and relaxing. And finally, number 10, let's talk a little bit about what I think could be better about Solarpunk. After 8 hours of playing the demo, these are my top wishes of what I would love to see added to the game as it develops. I've been spoiled by a loft, where I tap a key and can swap from first to third person view, so a point of view option in Solarpunk would be very welcome, especially when building, or even a field of view slider would help to see more. I've seen the developers switch to third person while flying the airship, so there's hope that maybe we can apply it throughout the game as well. 2 other creature comforts I'd love are controller support and keybind remapping, and crafting from storage. This really needs to be added, in my opinion, because trying to remember what storage chest has each ingredient for a crafting recipe and then grabbing stacks of each one is exhausting. I tried moving my storage closer to the workbench or furnace, but it didn't seem to matter. Difficulty settings to make survival even more realistic would be the icing on the cake. I want to hunker down in my cozy base during storms because being outside in the elements has a negative effect. I even suggested this to one of the developers who said they prototyped thunderstorms that dealt damage but worried that players would get bored waiting them out indoors or would just go to sleep. But I think if the storms are brief, the time could be spent cooking and increasing the food stockpile, or maybe there could be some other advantage like a health boost for waiting out the storms indoors. Without more adversity and challenge, I fear that after exploring the floating islands and unlocking all the tech, I would have little else to do in this rather empty world. And with Solarpunk drawing inspiration from Minecraft, I'd love to be able to manipulate the terrain too. Maybe build a subterranean base or mine for ore, or just to creatively influence the island's topography. I realize this is asking a lot, and the game is very enjoyable as is, but these would make Solarpunk appeal to a wider audience, in my opinion. Overall, for a pre-alpha demo, the sneak peek we're given at Solarpunk strengthens my prediction that it will be one of the most popular cozy survival games of 2025, alongside the newly released Aloft, which has many similarities. Solarpunk has the appealing aesthetics, enticing floating island homesteading and exploration, and cool tech like the airship and all the little robotic farming gadgets that you need to figure out how to power with sun, wind, and water. So it's beautiful, exciting, and makes you think while providing a gentle survival challenge. There's a lot to like, and it's a pretty darn impressive experience for not even being an alpha yet. But I am left wondering, will the final game have enough content, such as unlockable items and technology and diversity among the islands, which we have yet to experience, and survival challenge to keep players engaged long term? I really hope so, and I'm looking forward to playing the alpha and exploring the surrounding islands and new gadgets. But now that you've gotten a taste of the Solarpunk demo, what are your thoughts on the game? Do you think it has the proper mix of survival mechanics to earn a spot in your game library, or is it too cozy and forgiving for your taste? Let me know in the comments below, and if you don't want to miss out on the latest in chill sim and survival games, please consider subscribing. And I thank you for watching.